After this, I've got another event.
Also, I think, Rajita, you've got a long ride now.
Yeah, I have a meeting now in like 45 minutes. So I'm hoping it's okay for you all if I can log out a little early.
No, we just with you on the ride.
Huh?
We are with you on the ride. We're in Belgium. That's what you see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are going to start. Good afternoon. My name is Deepak Mukhi and I'm the Director of FICCI Maharashtra and Goa State Council. A very warm welcome to all the panelists and delegates to the fifth and final day of FICCI MSME Week 2022. The week is supported by ECGC, Tata Tele and SIDBI. Today's session is on building women-led global MSMEs and it's being organized in partnership with FICCI Flow Mumbai chapter, and we thank Tamina Khanwala ji, Chair Flow Mumbai chapter, for taking lead on this session. We are also extremely delighted to have a very distinguished set of panelists with us, led by Tamina ji, Professor Rajita Kulkarni, Ms. Rashida Bugani, Ms. Prerna Saxena, and Ms. Kavita Bajpai, who will join us shortly, will be with us during this next hour. These are leaders in their sphere of work and also have deep subject knowledge of two of our primary subtopics of today's session, which are on women entrepreneurship and women employment. And I thank all of them for participating in today's session. This session will be moderated by Ms. Tamina Khanwala, who's the Chair FICCI Flow Mumbai chapter. She is the Director of Paramount Commercial Private Limited and co-founder of Casa Amorosa. She has initiated and executed several projects for marginalized women. An event curator, Tamina has also founded various women networking group and actively is involved in Rotary's initiatives. So I request Tamina ji to moderate this session, and for audiences, if there are any questions, please do ask them through FICCI Bike, where you have registered, and also on YouTube, where this is being live streamed. So over to you, Tamina ji.
Thank you so much, Deepak. I'm Tamina Khandwala, Chairperson Flow Mumbai. Honored to be on this platform today with eminent women panelists who have made a name for themselves in their sphere. I'm proud to say that Flow Mumbai, we are doing a lot to promote women participation in the MSME startup space by extending a platform with experts as mentors to guide them excel. Various skilling programs are being organized for women to become financially independent. It's both in the metro cities and the villages that Flow has reached out to women to become entrepreneurs. Direct marketing and online platforms are being created to encourage women to sell their produce. We have many success stories of women who came only with an idea and today run successful businesses. But much more needs to be done to encourage women to come forward. Hence, we all are present here today to discuss issues where there is a lacuna in the system preventing women entering the entrepreneurship space. Now, I will request the panelists to briefly introduce themselves before we take this discussion forward. So we start with Rajita Kulkarni. Rajita, can you come in?
Yes, thanks a lot, Tamina, and good morning, good afternoon to everybody. It's great to be part of this panel for this 5-day program organized by FICCI. And I think the topic we have chosen today of how women can lead globally in the MSME sector. I think it's very, very relevant in the times today. My name is Rajita Kulkarni. I am a banker by education.
Sorry, I think we have lost.
We lost you, Rajita.
Rajita, we can't hear you. Rajita, we can't hear you.
Okay, move. I'm going to try and get a better internet. Hello?
Yes, Rajita, can we move on to the next panelist till we get back, Rajita? Yes, Rajita, can you
Yeah, hi everybody and good afternoon. It's an honor and pleasure to be here on this forum in terms of women entrepreneurship and MSME. It's always a very topic close to my heart because I have been a woman entrepreneur and started as an MSME many years ago. It's one of the most relevant topics today, obviously because of the fact that many women are now out there, wanting to prove themselves in the world. I am Rishita Bogani. I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I worked in India for a good of 5 years as a chartered accountant, then moved to Dubai. And now I'm running my own company, which is into exports. We are basically export oriented, and we deal with a lot of export units in India as well as in the Middle East. And we have concentrated our exports into Africa, and we've built a network of distribution and logistics. And I'm happy to be here to help some of the young entrepreneurs and women who are there on this call today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rashida. That was great to know you. We move on to Prerna Saxena. Hi, Prerna.
Hi, good afternoon, and thank you for having me here. I am representing United Nations based Better Than Cash Alliance. We work primarily to digitize payments and give related benefits to women entrepreneurs. In my career, I've been a banker earlier and then moved to development finance. And in the last 20 years, I have worked extensively with women entrepreneurs and seen their challenges and success stories. So happy to share today my perspective from access to finance side and how entrepreneurship can blossom with the right level of financing at the right time coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Prerna. We also have with us Ms. Ujwala Singhania, who has been our national hello to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ujwala Singhania. I am the past president of FLOW and also the co-chair of Maharashtra. I would like to welcome you all and hope to have a great session today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ujwala. Rajita, can you?
Yeah, you're able to hear me now?
We can hear you, yes. Please.
Okay, so I'm the president of Sri Sri University. We are a top 200 university of the world, and particularly in connection with this topic, we have a Sri Sri University Incubation Center. We are very focused on creating a spirit of enterprise for our students, and in the last 3 years, we have incubated and are supporting 82 startups. Which are servicing close to 2.5 million customers and have a collective turnover of about 3 million rupees. It's a young 2-3 years old, most of these startups are, and my focus is particularly in encouraging women founders, because out of these 82 startups, only 12 or 13 right now are women. So we are, really focused on creating an ecosystem in supporting entrepreneurs. We are a nodal agency for the government of Odisha, for Startup Odisha, and playing a large role in accelerating the startup agenda for Odisha and India. So happy to be here. I wear a couple of other hats, but I will stick to this role today. Thank you.
So much. Savita Bajpayee has not been logged in. where each of you can suggest a way out. First question to all panelists would be, what is the one most important factor in your view that will help to improve the participation of women in a sustainable economic process? Can we take that question one by one? So can we start with Rashida?
I mean, in my opinion, the biggest, the thing that I personally feel is for a woman is her woman herself, because I believe women have to break a lot of barriers to prove themselves. And I think they need to go out there, be more assertive, more stronger in trying to break these barriers to prove themselves in the world of entrepreneurship. I do believe that women are highly multitasking and they can do a lot more than what they actually perceive they think they want to do, because of the fact that women as per se are extremely good at multitasking a lot of jobs at the same time. And I do believe that this is one barrier that if they are able to break, they can do very well in terms of bringing themselves in the social economic forum. And I also believe that participating in forums like FICCI, especially the FICCI Flow, where you get to meet and network with a lot of dynamic entrepreneurs who have got skills and who can enhance your skills, who can help you to enhance a lot of your own barriers that you have, is one of the things that I do encourage women to do more often. Join, network, and collaborate, which is one of the key things to success in life.
Yeah, that was a great view, Rashil. Thank you so much. Prerna, can we have you next?
Thank you. Yes, I completely agree with Rashida. Of course, being assertive, being confident of your capabilities is the way to get started. However, in my experience, what I have noticed that along with this, there is also a very strong need to be more aware of your financial and legal rights and how you can best manage your means of financing so that you can grow and make it a better and profit-making businesses. Generally, we have seen that women are very good in delivering or producing what they have, the idea that they make it big, but they tend to delegate the financial aspect to somebody else in the family or to other staff in the organization, where I think there is a need to take more stronger leadership and stay engaged so that the business really blossoms further beyond a small idea and you make big enterprises owned and run by women. Thank you.
I totally agree with you, Prerna. Taking that into consideration, in FICCI Flow, we have started 2 cells. One is the financial literacy program that we are starting for all women, right from the grassroots level to the board level. And the second is the legal cell that we have started, where it empowers the women, or it provides a tool for them, to actually take on anything that comes to them. So thank you very much, Prerna. Any comment?
Yeah, I think these are great points made by Rashida and Prerna, so I won't repeat those. But I agree that number one is self-doubt that women have to overcome. I have seen incredible young women who have so much more talent sometimes than their male counterparts, but the ability to take risk, or the ability, that move to make the first sort of move is something I have seen is holding women back. So I think that is more internal to us. And of course, ability to deal with your own business. So financial literacy, understanding business mechanics, how to build a business plan. So the overall business mechanics of it, because somehow still, I mean, it is not a case in urban India, but if you go to tier 2, tier 3 cities, it is still considered a male bastion in India. So I think we have to break through that. And the third, I would say, is the importance of networking and mentoring. There is, it is said that women are very good at building bonding capital, which means that we are very good at meeting people of our kind. So if I'm a banker, I will have banker friends. If I'm a teacher, I'll have teacher friends. Bonding capital is good. It gives us good relationships. But what is needed for business is what is called bridging capital, which means we need to build relationships with people, men and women who are from other businesses than us, other areas than us, because that gives us access then to newer ideas, to newer connections, to newer opportunities. And somehow women shy away or are not so good at building bridging capital. And I think that's where, again, Temina, platforms like FICCI are so valuable, because in one group, in one cohort, you have like 40, 50 types of businesses. So I think the more women focus on building bridging capital, the more, opportunities will be thrown out and will be made available. So I think these are a few points that I would like to speak about.
Thank you, Rajita. That was a good point, that diversity is something that we should look into all, to kind of bridge whatever we would like to do. Moving on to the next question is, what sort of financial reform will drive women entrepreneurs to expand their footprint across India and the rest of the world? I guess Rashida and Prerna can throw more light on this.
To be very honest, I mean, being a chartered accountant, being in the finance world for almost 30 years, it's a topic which I would love to throw light on, because of the fact that it's one of such an important topic and such an important part of a business, but sadly it gets overlooked, especially when young entrepreneurs, they start their business. I think that's one of the areas that nobody wants to pay attention to, because they're so focusing on getting their product to market, they're marketing it, they're trying to sell their product. So I think finance takes a backseat. And I feel if you want to increase your footprints into the world, into getting more funding, into expanding your business in India as well as in the export market, you need to have your housekeeping in place. You need to make sure that you engage good consultants who can build your finance in terms of build your financial balance sheet and make your business look financially strong. So when you go out there to ask for funding, to ask for venture capitalists to invest in your business, you can present a very healthy financial report to them, which makes them want to come and invest in your business. And I think this is one thing that I would urge all women to try and always engage good financial consultants along with them whenever they are starting their own business. And I think that helps a long way, because the moment you see that your business is financially, you see your numbers, you tend to understand your business much better.
I totally agree with you, Rashida, that financial Thank you very much. And Prerna?
We're not able to hear you. Temina, there's some mic issue. I think we're not able to hear you.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now here.
Yes.
So, Prerna, can we go to you?
Yes, sure. So in terms of, policy making and what interventions could be done, I am of the firm belief that India is already on the right path for this. We already have such innovations happening, like the account aggregator now, which is going to be a path breaker kind of a phenomena in giving funding to people who share their data. And similarly, we are also having these credit guarantee schemes regularly introduced by government. But I think the onus now is more on women entrepreneurs to educate themselves or to make use of these schemes, and how they can do that. Just before that, I just wanted to share with you, I was looking for some numbers yesterday, and I got hold of an IFC report which mentions that there are more than 15 million women-owned MSMEs in India, and only 10% of those have availed formal financing, which is shocking, because even though there are so many schemes from the government, there was Mudra scheme, there were some other schemes, and a lot of public sector, private sector banks, and particularly the small finance banks, which are particularly instituted to give funding to MSMEs, they have come up with their products and services. Sometimes their messaging is not too targeted. They do have loans which are cash flow based now. They do have non-financial services which help women entrepreneurs to build their networking skills, to have better bookkeeping capabilities. it's also important for us to now make use of them and also make better use of digital means. I think we are there somehow, maybe not making best avail of digital media. We have to understand that the more we put our transactions in our book, the more we create history on our bank accounts. All these trails help the women entrepreneurs get better financing terms. And when we talk of financing, we should not limit ourselves to thinking only about credit. We should also think about insurance. We should also think about taking care of our employees' finances, because all this contributes to the well-being of your business, of women entrepreneurs' business. So I think the time is to broaden our vision, broaden our perspective, and make use of things which are there. Definitely from the bank side, from the financing community, I do think that they are coming up with products, but they just need to reach out to women entrepreneurs in a more effective way and not look at their business potential with some kind of social biases that we have in mind. We have to get rid of them and evaluate women entrepreneurs on their potential, on their skills, and not their social circumstances. I think you're on mute, Tamina ji.
Rajita?
Yeah, again, great points by Rashida and Prerna. And what I have seen is that the access to finance for women entrepreneurs is hugely asymmetrical to what male entrepreneurs have. I mean, there is huge amount of data. Prerna was alluding to some now. There is a lot of data of which points to this, that women entrepreneurs don't get financing as much as male entrepreneurs do. I'm seeing that within our cohorts too. So that is number one. Number two, if you look at the rural penetration of our banking, networks, I mean, 2/3 of India lives in rural and semi-rural areas. But if you look at the bank presence in these areas, it's not more than 10 or 11%. So even formal finance in a structured manner through the banking channels is not accessible to small women entrepreneurs in in smaller villages and semi-urban areas. So that is something which I think is very important. Thirdly, I think the focus of the focus of where finance goes. Like if you see now, there is a lot of focus on investing in ESG companies. Like there are so many funds come actively for ESG companies, or there are other domain-specific areas where funds flow more actively than others. I think there is a need for creating this kind of an awareness and this kind of a focus for women-led entrepreneurial setup. So, and I think that is where organizations like FICCI can play a very important role, because having such a large cohort of entrepreneurs itself, if an organization like FICCI says that let us make this a priority and really creates awareness and advocacy for it, I think it can go in a very long way. I can say one thing, in Odisha, for example, where our university is, the Startup Odisha platform, we are doing a lot of advocacy. Personally, I'm doing to encourage them to say that, reservation is needed till you reach a certain critical mass of performance. And I think that is what we need to do for women entrepreneurs today, and especially in with respect to access to finance. So I think we need more intentionality of how this finance becomes accessible. And I completely agree with the point Rashida made that, sometimes I think women entrepreneurs think that having a financial consultant is an extra expense, and they think that, we will manage it and we will see. But creating that discipline and having that structured approach to watch every penny and, make really every penny work for you, I think is, if you don't have the expertise for it, then you better hire someone. But my big idea is that we need to do more to make finance accessible for women, which it is not today. And Prerna's point that, treat women as what they are. I mean, look at the balance sheet, don't look at the gender of the founder, is very, very important, because I have seen even in the accelerators that we organize and the VC pitches that we facilitate for our cohort of startups, I see those biases, very subtle biases, but I see those biases, and I think that needs to be broken.
But just to add, Rajita, I think that's what I said. The balance sheets have to be, done professionally, and unless and until we don't kind of educate women to how a balance sheet should look like for their advantage, it's something that it needs to be done more with the women entrepreneurs now.
Absolutely. Actually, and for that, Rashida, what we are doing, because as a university, we have a huge platform and ecosystem. So even for our startup cohort of these 82 startups, we regularly have financial training, because our faculty of management studies, all our finance professors, etc. We have every month sessions for them on all aspects of finance, and I can see how that helps them. So even active financial training is, I think, very vital and important.
Thank you, Rachita. So what we understand is financial awareness and gender discrimination. These are the two. Kavita. Kavita has walked in. Kavita.
Yeah, hi, I'm here. Oh, yes. I'm so sorry for joining in late. The first thing I have to do is log in.
Kavita, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, so my name is Dr. Kavita Bajpai, and with a lot of pride, I call myself doctor, because I have invested my 8 years while completing my PhD into education leadership, and that too from British Council. I've been into education from the very beginning, because this is what I always wanted to do. And since 2017, I have established a company, and through that company, I'm running 3 projects as of now. So first project is an international residential school, which is in Kerala, the International School of Trishore. The second project is the skill development sector, where we are working on Industry 4.0 automation. I'm in alignment with automation industry. And the third one is the teachers training program, Pan India. So these are the things which I've been associated with. And yeah, quite a proud member when it comes to Wikiflow, because I feel that this platform is very exciting, because it keeps coming with number of opportunities for us to explore, to know about each other, and to talk about it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Kavita. And we were discussing a few points. We would like your opinion on that too. So what sort of financial reform will drive women entrepreneurs to expand their footprint across India and the rest of the world?
Yeah. So, when I was actually looking at, let me just take the example of the COVID times. So when we are the management of the schools, who have been running schools and, trying to establish the schools, and suddenly, at that time, what I realized that there was no policy, there was no, planning which had come, which could have given us some support, as a promoter, or maybe as someone who's actually trying to run the show. So that was quite not gender-based or gender-biased, but in general. So that is one thing. When I look for, because why I'm talking about education to start with or to begin with, because education is primarily, it is dominated by women at every level. So there I felt that at least the women who were the promoters or who were heading the schools or who were establishing the schools, there should have been some policy, some relief, some comfort should have been there. But as I give it to the policy makers as well, because it was quite a sudden thing which had happened. But if I continue with the same thread, I feel that when we talk about our MSMEs, or when we talk about our ventures, then suddenly the concept of no gender discrimination comes up. And then no one would talk about that if a woman who's actually heading this, or who's trying to establish, or who's planning a venture, it is just not that woman. There is a lot of struggle. Wherever, whichever place or whichever background you're coming from, that doesn't matter. Because, what happens is you grow up in one house, you move to the another house, you get into motherhood, you have the responsibility of the children, whatever it is. But at the bottom line is a woman is everywhere. So somewhere I feel when it comes to the ventures, when it comes to the financial support, there has to be some better understanding when we talk about. I don't say that give us more loan or give us more subsidies or give us more moratorium or something, but I always feel that give us something what we deserve. Plan a policy which gives us some kind of the comfort, which gives us the ease to run our show. That's very important. So that is one thing which I always feel, and that is how what happens is, even if the women they want to come up with smallest of the ventures. Say someone would like to start up a boutique. Now what? The people go headless, absolutely headless. Then, and if you ask someone, okay, there are a number of government schemes, there are a number of policies, why don't we explore it online? The moment you see online, you actually find it very confusing. Because the moment you start getting into it, then this format, that format, this office, that office, all that starts happening. So I feel that there has to be a complete handholding towards the women, which where the process are much more simplified, because they're coming forward and talking about starting their own venture itself is a big thing. So the handholding is something which is very much required. And then when this handholding is coming through various policies or through various programs, where they say, okay, if you're coming up with this qualification, you're coming up with this experience, or this is your project report, this is how we are going to support you. But the process has to be very simplified. Because, at the end of the day, what happens? Most of the women, they're not financially literate. They're highly educated, but financial literacy is still a challenge. That is there. And then suddenly you ask them to fill up number of forms, number of performers, and ask them to visit one office to another. 60-70% of them, either they drop it or they start getting dependent on their, the people around, mostly the male around, or the people, the accounts person around. And then where is that independence? So I feel a simplified process is very much required. That's what I'm saying. Don't give us anything which is additional subsidy, but give us a simplified process. Give us someone that if a woman is, communicating with someone, let the other woman sitting on the other side of the table. That's better rather than, they're just running from pillar to post. And at the end of the day, finding that, no, it is a difficult job. I should have continued with my try to get into a new venture. So I know it's a very simple thing what I have said. No technicalities, anything is involved here, but I'm talking about the practical issues over here. So that's required. A simplified process. In the footprint, forget about your city, your state, India, global, everywhere, things would be easy. The process needs to be simplified.
Thank you, Kavita. Even I have not yet figured out what is it with women and numbers. I don't know why this constant.
No, but I tell you, Mr. Femina, what happens is the financial literacy, even at home also, even if you file your own return. I think majority of the women would say, my husband does it, my brother does it, my spouse does it, my partner does it, my CA does it. That happens. So I think this is one area which is little lacking here. Because even if someone would like to say, okay, let me do it, someone would say, okay, forget about it. You won't be able to do it. Let me handle it. Let me do it.
Right.
I think, Kavita, I beg to differ because I beg to differ. The number of women now entering the finance field and and being chartered accountants is increasing day by day.
No, Miss Rachna, let me just tell you, no. See, you are talking about a very niche group. I'm talking about the masses. Still, the financial literacy is a challenge. Believe me, big time challenge.
Yeah, I do agree it's a big time challenge because I mean numbers and women kind of they women don't like to deal with numbers very often, but I do think it's changing. It's changing a lot.
But I'm saying we come with a densely populated country, and if you talk about the masses, the numbers are still a challenge. Not that they don't understand; they have not been given the opportunity. That protection suddenly comes in, you won't be able to do it. Let me do it. I'm just talking about a very baseline, a middle class, lower middle class. Ask them, they won't be having half of them the PAN numbers only. So that happens. So what you say, I totally agree.
I feel we cannot generalize like that. We are all sitting on this table because we have also reached somewhere and we understand our numbers. And there is a huge population of women who are.
I think you people are mistaking me. What I'm saying.
No.
I'm
1
talking
minute,
about a country
Kavita,
with 130
Kavita.
crores.
Yeah. 1 minute. I got your point. All I'm saying is that yes, the more financial literacy we create is better. And there is a lot of scope also to do that, especially for women. But I don't think we can generalize because there are pockets everywhere. And we should not generalize because then we are putting ourselves in a bracket, which I don't think we should do. That's all.
No, I'm really sorry, but I did not say that. Perhaps I could not explain, or I could not put my work, the point properly. Maybe I see generalizing is one thing which I would never do. But what I'm trying to tell you is, I was just talking in terms of the masses because it happens. I'm coming from the education sector and I know how things are. Still, there is a struggle. But I go by your thoughts and all because we have to look at a particular, strata. Yes, people are coming forward. So I do understand.
So moving forward, digital payments have taken India by storm. Would you say women entrepreneurs are in sync with the changing taking place and keeping abreast of new developments? Prerna?
Thank you for bringing the spotlight on digital payments, which we strongly believe is the first step towards better financial health and better financial capabilities. And while we all know that in a lot of tier 2, tier 3 cities and in a lot of our rural areas, there is a big digital divide which is existing. A lot of women entrepreneurs are still not having their individual access to smartphones or internet-enabled devices, and they are still not able to understand their rights and their capabilities when they are on internet or they are looking for information on YouTube, Facebook, on skill building and all that. And there is a lot of education which needs to be done on data privacy matters, on consent related matters as to when women are signing up for these education related videos or taking up skill building and paying for them, or also when they're registering themselves on various platforms. Wherever you go, if you transact on internet, digital payments comes into picture. And whether we know, and this is not just for women, but for men also, I would say that whether we are very clear on what we are signing for, whether we know what is our data getting used for. So this is something towards which we are trying to generate more awareness. But yes, definitely India is a global leader in digital payments, and with the push from the Digital India program, we see now digital payments getting taking a big rise everywhere. And it has also taken the MSMEs into its own stride. We see so many products which are financing products which are based on digital payments, POS machine-based financing, cash flow-based financing, also now GST return-based financing, analyzing your IT returns. So all these records are coming because you are making payments digitally and they're easily accessible. So yes, digital payments is making quite a revolution. One thing I want to say here, which is maybe in a little bit of a continuation of the earlier point that we're discussing, I think right now there is a need to have more women in the staff of financial services providers. Like we have seen that women feel more comfortable expressing their doubts and asking for questions with women. So if we have more women in bank offices, if we have more women in insurance companies, if we have more women available to cater to women customers, and we're not talking about a micro segment here, we are talking about a potential 50% of the world's population segment. And so we need to have more women officers catering to them, which will definitely increase their knowledge, their confidence in availing such services. And to add to that, I think there is also a need to focus a bit more towards gender disaggregated data. I mean, we do have a lot of data in India about how various services are being utilized. But when you ask for gender disaggregated, means how many men versus how many women are particularly availing these services, we do not get much information. And even if you ask a bank customer or if you ask an insurance company's customer, we do not get these kinds of information. And unless we have that information, we do not know how we can make the situation better. What are the challenges which need to be tackled on? So I think I kind of picked up on 2-3 points, but I thought these were important with the kind of discussion that we are doing, because unless you have data which is gender disaggregated, you do not know how deep or how wide the problem is. And unless you have women tackling women's problems, you do not, I mean, I am so heartened to hear about the Ficky Flow kind of network that you all are talking about, even though I am not really so much into it. But we need to have that kind of network within financial services, women catering to women and making things better for them. Yeah.
Thank you, Prerna. We would really like to invite you to.
Thank you. Definitely. I hope to be there.
Anybody else who would like to comment on this?
I mean,
if I may, so yeah, please carry on.
No, go ahead, Kavita. Go ahead.
No, that's perfectly all right. I was just speaking in continuation with what Ms. Prerna said. So yeah.
No, go ahead. You start. You continue.
Okay, so what I was trying to tell you over here is exactly the same point what I was making in my first discussion. That is in continuation to thank you, Ms. Prerna, for bringing that up. I feel that this is quite an empowering thing, the digital payment, or the digital currency for that matter. But again, I stick to my point, and that financial literacy is very important, because unless that is there, and when we are talking about entrepreneurship, we are talking about MSME, it itself says that we are talking about micro, the work as well, the entrepreneur, the ventures as well. So empowering everyone in true sense, educating them, letting them know about their rights is very important, and more so, as I said during my first answer, and then followed by Ms. Prerna said the same thing. The comfort, what they get. If this lady is sitting there, they feel more comfortable while questioning and, re-questioning. So I think these things are very important, because when I am answering over here, I'm not answering just considering that a particular, a group of highly successful women, or people who are staying only in Mumbai or any other metropolitan city of the country or abroad. I'm talking about, because India still stays in the tier 3 cities and the villages, and still there are women who are coming forward for the work. So empowerment is very important when it comes to financial and digital literacy. That's all from my end. And that's quite a welcome news.
You're on mute, Tamina.
Would you like to add to this? Can you hear me?
You're telling me?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to add on to what Prerna said, of course, she summed it up very well. She's in the digital space, so obviously she has a better perspective on digital. But my take on it is that a lot of homegrown business on a micro level are using a lot of the digital aspect of like Google Pay, Paytm. You see a lot of these small homegrown women who are doing businesses out of their home. They're using a lot of digital platforms like Google Pay and Paytm to manage their businesses and finances. But when you talk about a full-fledged business, we are talking about a business that is actually going to a next level. I do feel that a lot of women do not embrace or do not integrate the digital aspect of banking and of finance into their businesses, and they're still using the conventional methods. And this causes a problem, because obviously this restricts them from growing much bigger than what they want to grow, and it restricts their way of handling their business and growing their business. And obviously, if they are looking at exports, this again limits the way they are doing their business, and especially in the export market, because now export and when you're talking about export, a lot of digital requirements, digital banking requirements are there. So therefore, I feel that women should continuously have access to digital training. Like Prerna said, where banks have more women, so they can interact, they can understand, they can kind of not have to learn pillar to post to get their digital banking set up. And I think that will definitely help in the long run, and especially like Kavita said, in the two-tier cities and not the metropolitans. I think obviously women are more comfortable dealing with women, and that will probably enhance the digital banking much more, and the ease of banking and doing digital banking much more. And also it gives you a freedom, because digital banking allows you to do your business from anywhere. It allows you to make payments from anywhere. That freedom itself is a very, very important aspect in enhancing your business. So that's my thoughts on digital banking. Over to you, Rachita.
Yeah, thanks. And really, Prerna, great points summed up very well. In my experience, I have seen two. I mean, it's a bit of a paradox. So I live in Mumbai, and now, after demonetization, and especially in the pandemic, even the local sabzi wali auntie will not take cash from you, and you have to pay her on Google Pay or Paytm. She doesn't even want a credit in the account. She says use these two. So if you don't have that, you cannot do business with her. But in the urban areas, this is possible because we have access and they have access. So, but on the other side, I will give you the example of one of our startups, and she's in the field of food processing. She has about 10,000 employees who are really, really remote rural women. Now, if she wants to pay them all digitally for their salaries, she's unable to do so because they don't have banking, they don't have access to formal banking. So that part is about access. So if we don't reach access to formal banking through the remotest parts of our country, we will never be able to move fully digital. So whether it is paying her staff the salaries, or even on the other side transacting with customers. So her customers are also from the rural areas, are farmers and such. And if they don't have access to banking, they cannot transact with her digitally. So one is about intent, about how much we, as an entrepreneur, how much I want to move in that direction. Second is about access, because until all my stakeholders have access to the same level of digital interactions or engagement as I do, I will not be, as an entrepreneur, be able to go that way fully. So I think in India we have a lot more to do in the access area. And Prerna, as you were saying, some of the schemes, a lot has been done in our country in the last years. But I think it's, I would say, intent, access, and education. Sometimes the education, people don't have the information about what are some of these, policies available, or some of the schemes available. So I think these three things we need to work on. Even in urban, semi-urban, definitely in rural India. And again, I will bring this point in that organizations like FICCI and FICCI Flow, Temina, what you are doing for skill development, etc., is really, really important. And this could also be one of the areas we could take up a few communities in the outskirts of Mumbai and start looking at how we can provide and make sure everybody has access to formal financial channels and the digital interaction.
Sure, thank you, Kavita. And that's what we are trying to do in Flow Mumbai. The digital literacy is also something that we are doing in a big way. And yes, we have also adopted 4 villages in Karjat, and we'll be also having workshops with them. With all about 3,000 to 6,000 women are going to be benefiting from this entire program. So coming to a final and discussion, is the MSME sector the driver of change as far as women entrepreneurs are concerned? Or is it only the large sector that hogs the limelight? Kavita and Rajita, can you share your experiences?
Yeah, I can go here. So this is something very close to my heart. We can talk about it for a long time. But I think women have a huge role to play, and the MSME sector, for the MSME sector, and the MSME sector itself has a huge, it is the engine of growth. Today, India's development story, India's growth story will rely and rest on the success of its MSMEs. If you look at a recent IMF report, women entrepreneurs contribute to 17% of India's GDP. 17%. And with a little tweaks, with a little fillip, with a little acceleration, with a little support, that can go to, it is projected to go to 30%. So that is a huge contribution by women MSMEs to India's GDP, and our Prime Minister has a huge goal for making us a $5 trillion economy. So I think that is a very, very big contribution we can make. Also, there is another report which I saw, Temina, which says that women entrepreneurs in India can help create about 17 crore jobs by 2030. You know, just yesterday I was speaking at the India Global Forum in London, and one of the big concerns which everybody was sharing, that we will have more, and that is what for all of us in education, what keeps us awake, is that we will be graduating more students than there will be jobs. And if women entrepreneurs, because of their businesses, can create this magnitude of jobs, then imagine the impact that it is going to make to our economy and to, you know, to the generation of students which are graduating. So I think that we have a huge role to play. Women entrepreneurs have a huge role to play, as do the entire MSME sector. And I think the pandemic has hit this sector the hardest. Small businesses have got hurt in the worst possible way. So I think these coming year or two is going to be very, very critical. And I think, again, for us as a FICCI platform, I think it is very important to, if there is any businesses for him or any sectors for which we can do some advocacy for tax breaks or any moratoriums or, you know, any support in the coming years. You know, I am in the Netherlands, Brussels area these days, and I was hearing how for example, the Dutch government supported small businesses in the last 2 years. There were concessions, the insurance was improved, employees' support was improved. So a lot was done by the government to make sure that the small businesses who were already hurt by the pandemic don't bleed further. So I think that is something for us to look at as well. And you know, to your question, it is the driver of change. Small answer, yes.
Great. Thank you, Rajita. Kavita, are you there? Anybody else would like to comment?
Yeah, I'm very much there,
Yeah,
So, what Rajita has said, yes, that makes a lot of sense over here, because I think she had summed it up very well. And yes, as you rightly said, the driver of change, so I totally agree and believe in that, what we are talking about. Because, you know, what happened is MSME has brought the real-time transformation. And when you talk about real-time transformation, so not even the women who were working, they thought of starting their own entrepreneur journey. Rather, even MSME sector has brought even homemakers into the limelight of, you know, becoming independent and starting of something on their own, and followed by the support or the policies which have been there. But, you know, at the end of the day, what happens is, the only one request, only one thing what I feel in the entire scenario is a little more, you know, the seamless transition or seamless process it has to be, so that more and more people can come forward, more and more women can come forward. But yes, at the end of the day, it is the driver of change for that. And because it is quite empowering, and it has brought a big time transformation in the entire society when we look back. So, and I think past 2 to 3 years, 4 years have been a big time transformation. So that's all from my end. Yes, Rajita has summed up very well. So I'm all for her, what she said.
So thank you very much, Kavita, and thank you all the panelists who are present here today. It was entirely a very enriching conversation that we all had, and I sincerely would like to thank Rajita, Rashida, Prerna, and Kavita for joining in. And I will now hand it over to Deepak to take this forward.
Thanks a lot, Temina.
Thanks,
was wonderful.
It was a pleasure. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Deepak, you please go ahead. And you will have to excuse me because I have the next event to...
Yeah, we'll just close it in 2-3 minutes, because I only have one question. Probably I do not have any, government participation here. So I don't know whether anyone of you can, answer from an, someone has asked if a women exporter gets any special incentive on the EXIM related business. But at least personally, I don't know. I've not heard about any specific scheme focused on women in entrepreneurship who are entrepreneurs who are exporting and getting some incentives. Maybe some state governments, but not at the central government level. Anyone has any idea? Otherwise, we will just close it because that's the only question I have received.
We don't have anybody from the government today, but definitely we can take up this conversation also next time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. So I think, thank you. I'm really delighted to propose a vote of thanks to all the panelists of today's session, giving good ideas on how women entrepreneurs can contribute to the economic growth. I think one point which was discussed at greater length was on financial literacy and on digital side. And these are the two areas where we can look at doing further work and create more network around it. And I would also like to thank all our panelists, since it's our last day and last session, who have been part of this enriching session, starting from how do we strengthen MSMEs participation in export, whether it is to do with information giving on current digital ecosystem, diversified ways of accessing the finance, or how do we create a robust skilling ecosystem. So I think these were some of the topics which were discussed during these 5 days. And again, today, greater participation of women for a sustainable economic growth, and they all were very enriching. And I'm sure we'll be able to bring some notebook out of it of suggestions for everyone. We are very grateful to our sponsors, ECGC, Tata Tele, and SIDBI for supporting us. There were over 500 delegates which registered and participate there in this MSME week, and I'm sure they would be able to get some good information about various schemes and various initiatives taken by both private and government sector over 5 days. And lastly, big thank you to our team here in Maharashtra, FICCI CMSME team, FICCI Flow Mumbai team, Tamina Ji, and all our tech and media team for doing this program on FICCI Bike. And we will we hope that we can bring more discussion of this kind in both online and physical mode. I think online made two of our panelists do the session from their car itself, so that's the benefit, and we could hear good suggestions from them. And these sessions are all these sessions are available on FICCI YouTube channel. So anyone who wants to revisit these channel can do so. So with that, we bring to the close of this session, and then hope to see you. Our next program would be on World Youth Skilling Day. So anyone of you have any interest, regarding the youth skilling, then do get in touch.
Yeah.
Yes, I would certainly like to be a part of it, because this skill development is one thing, which is, as I told you, that is one of the projects which we have recently started. So would certainly like to be a part of.
Sure. So we'll be doing it on 14th of July, on the eve of the World Youth Skill Day on 15th July. So we will surely come back to you. So thank you very much for all of you for joining us in today's.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, each one of you. Thank you so
See you
much.
on the other
Pleasure
side.
meeting you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Pradeep, can you play that video? This is for our audience from SIDBI side.
An amazing ecosystem of entrepreneurship and innovation in India for the last 32 years. To back every entrepreneurial dream, no matter how small or big, no matter how simple or esoteric. SIDBI began its journey in 1990 through an Act of Parliament. and has since been playing a stellar role as the principal financial institution for financing, promotion and development of micro, small and medium enterprises, that is, the MSME sector, which is a major contributor to India's GDP and exports. The sector also provides employment to more than 11 crore people. Since its inception, the bank has gone beyond direct financing by engaging with various players to identify and address critical gaps in the MSME ecosystem. SIDBI has taken the lead in development of best-in-class digital solutions. It has completely digitized its direct credit process right from loan application to disbursement. This seamless and end-to-end digitization has enabled MSMEs to experience most convenient and faster delivery of SIDBI's specially tailored credit products for meeting different business requirements.
मैं अपना कैरियर एक हेल्पर से स्टार्ट किया था। हेल्पर से स्टार्ट करके मैं परचेस मैनेजर तक पहुंचा। उसके बाद मैंने पार्टनरशिप की बिजनेस स्टार्ट की 2007 में। फिर हमें आगे ग्रो करना था तो उसके लिए हमने जगह अभी जो एग्जिस्टिंग है हमने MIDC से परचेस किया। उसको बनाने के लिए हमें फाइनेंस की आवश्यकता थी। उस समय में हमने SIDBI को अप्रोच किया। SIDBI ने काफ़ी हमें सहयोग किया। लोन लेने के लिए हमें बहुत आसानी से लोन भी मिला। हमने फैक्ट्री का कंस्ट्रक्शन 2018 में पूरा किया। SIDBI has provided wings to fulfill my dreams.
The bank has supported PSB loans in 59 minutes, which has emerged as one of the largest credit fintechs, enabling MSMEs to receive loan offers from multiple bankers. Through Udyami Mitra digital platforms, SIDBI manages several flagship programs of Government of India. To address the critical problem of delayed payments in the MSME ecosystem, SIDBI has co-created a digital TREADS platform under the aegis of Receivable Exchange of India Limited. SIDBI is also developing financial products to leverage India's cutting-edge digital frameworks like Open Credit Enhancement Network, OCEN, an account aggregator framework for the benefit of MSMEs. It is also supporting the first of its kind initiative of Open Network for Digital Commerce, that is ONDC, which is expected to democratize the digital commerce in the country. The bank is also embarking on a major project for formalization of Indian MSMEs, which will open new doors of opportunities for MSMEs. It manages one of the largest credit guarantee programs for MSMEs in the world through Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for micro and small enterprises. The bank was the co-founder of India's first MSME-focused rating agency. SIDBI Foundation for Microcredit played a pioneering role in fostering the microfinance industry revolution in the country over the last 3 decades. This helped in institutionalizing credit dispensation at the bottom of the pyramid, and this ecosystem has supported nearly 5 crore informal enterprises. The bank also provides liquidity support to a wide spectrum of banks, NBFCs and fintechs to ensure that the funds keep flowing to MSME sector, especially to the informal sector and micro enterprises. India is today considered as a startup destination of the world. The bank has been playing an important role in stimulating venture capital and risk capital ecosystem of the country for more than 2 decades by supporting various incubators and venture capital and alternate investment funds. SIDBI is gearing up to play a big role in MSME cluster development in association with various state governments. This will ensure that the Indian MSME clusters become part of the global value chains and help Indian MSMEs go global. Ensuring industrial growth with a sustainable environment is also one of SIDBI's key objectives through its green financing initiatives. Always ready to take a step ahead to promote aspirational entrepreneurship, SIDBI's mission Swavlamban program has 4 important pillars of Sampark, Samvad, Suraksha and Sampreshan.
जब भी हमारा कुछ काम पड़ता है तो दे आर वेरी रेडिली अवेलेबल. कभी भी कोई स्कीम आती है तो 100% वो अवेयर कराते हैं हमको. तो हम धन्यवाद करते हैं सिडबी ग्रुप का, सिडबी मैनेजमेंट का, सिडबी स्टाफ का, जिन्होंने टाइम टू टाइम हमको असिस्ट किया.
The bank's professional manpower, having deep knowledge of MSME sector, is its strongest foundation. With capability to deliver the vision of Government of India for MSME sector.
In a robust economy where potential is to be maximized, it's important for every business to realize its dreams. India is a competitive economy and we can take it even further. We can make India competitive globally. For this, every business, big or small, needs to be assisted and nurtured. SIDBI wants every business dream to shine, and then we will be sure that India will shine.
मुझे मेरा बुटीक शॉप खोलना है.
I dream of making it big in the food business.
मुझे मेरी लॉजिस्टिक्स की कंपनी खोलनी है.
I dream of having my own event management company.
मुझे मेरा टेक्सटाइल बिजनेस खोलना है.
Every dream is a seed waiting to be nurtured. And today, SIDBI is supporting growth of the ecosystem which nurtures these dreams, planting a bright future for India where sky is the limit. SIDBI, celebrating dreams, celebrating 32 years of nation building.
Thank you very much for watching this SIDBI video. I'm sure that's informative to all of you. We would now close this session formally. Thank you everyone for being with us both at Fiki Bike and YouTube channel. Thank you.